The service thing was created when a group of us got together and we're talking about how to enhance reflection within service opportunities here in CCSJ, and we came up with the idea of the service thing as a way to make reflection fun and to create community around service so that folks got to know each other better and felt more comfortable sharing and delving into the issues around the service that they were doing in Baltimore.
So you know the center really designs its service programs around the PARE model, right? PARE, not PARE the fruit, but PARE, P-A-R-E, preparation, action, reflection, and evaluation. And so often the action component gets the most attention out of those 4 words, and the preparation and the reflection components do not. And so we wanted to come up with a way for students to really focus on how they grow, what they learn from their service experiences while they're here at Loyola.
We have a very dedicated student staff, and for years they've been planning reflection sessions for all of our student participants. Yet very few people were actually attending the reflection sessions. And so that was a problem for us, because we as at CCSJ are committed to our mission of educating through service, but we believe that that education happens through reflection, as students reflect on their service experiences and contrast that with what they've learned in education about the issues and think about the relationships they've formed with people in the community. That's when the real learning happens. It involves them in a larger movement of students who are interested in community service and social change. Rather than just interacting with people at their particular service site, the service thing is an umbrella organization, and it's a membership organization that brings together students at all the different service sites throughout Baltimore City, and allows them to compare notes with a broader array of students. And really, I think, helps them see the bigger impact that we're having in the city and the kind of involvement that Loyola as an institution wants to have with the local community.
What's most important in the long run is how we grow and how we develop and how we change as a result of those experiences. So we try to come up with a way to sort of build a supportive community around that experience, and to say, you know, your own sort of learning and growth process are a really important part of this whole thing. So you really should be engaging with other sort of like-minded students in a supportive and challenging environment. And so we said, why not create a sort of a program or a membership organization where people are held accountable and expectations are clear, and that you know, you're agreeing to say, you know, you're going to put yourself out there and say, I'm gonna risk a little bit here and hopefully really grow from this experience and sort of challenge myself, challenge my assumptions.
We decided to incorporate service and reflection concurrently. We built in 3 reflection sessions every semester.
I think that doing service before without the servicing, reflection wasn't a very big component of doing service. Since it wasn't strongly suggested or in some cases required in order to participate in service, when I went to reflection sessions, I noticed that a lot of the other volunteers didn't show up. I volunteered at Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital my sophomore year before I was a service coordinator, and I just remember going to one of the reflection sessions, and it was only me and one other volunteer that showed up, and we had over 40 volunteers at our service program. Now, being a service coordinator, I've had almost 100% participation for every service reflection. We
decided that we wanted to build more community among the volunteers, and so we started first on Facebook and now on Moodle bi-weekly community questions, where electronically students participating in service can share about their experiences and what they've learned and some of the stories that are so fun to tell.
Well, when we were planning the service thing, we were trying to figure out what would be a cool name. It would be something that would be fun. And we had a team of students who were working on it with us, and we came up with a long list of names. And finally, a student, Mike, came in and said, okay, I was in the shower this morning and I figured out our name. It's going to be the service thing. And every other name we had, somebody didn't like it for some reason, and the service thing everybody liked.
The service thing was sort of like a catch-all phrase almost, you know, kind of hip, kind of funky, but but you kind of make it what you want it to be, really. So it doesn't sort of tell you anything about the program, really. It just says, you're part of a community, you're part of this movement on campus where you're committing to being prepared before you go, sort of thinking about what your preconceived notions are about your own gifts and what you're going to learn from the community. Doing meaningful things while you're in the community and really sort of being present, and then really committing to kind of thoughtful, critical thinking about your experience, so that you can say, I'm different now, 2 months later than I was in the beginning of the semester. And how am I different? This is how I'm different.
Without the servicing, there isn't much. We're busy. We don't really have time that we set aside to reflect on our service experiences, and the servicing is a time that we have to set aside every other week to answer the community questions or to attend the mid-semester reflection sessions.
I think being able to talk to other people that you're working with outside of the context of a volunteer site sort of makes it easier to understand more about what you're doing, understand some of the issues that face the groups of people that you're working with, and in general just sort of have a more fulfilling experience. And I think the service thing does a really good job of that, because otherwise I think for the most part volunteers tend to just go to the site, volunteer, and then not really think about it too much afterwards.
I participated in the service thing with Caravan, and it really helped me to focus my experiences down and process them from the great experiences that I did have and the conversations that I had.
I think the service thing definitely provides a really good opportunity for people to do a lot more towards their experiences.
I think the service thing really enhanced my service experience because it allowed me to see where I was with my service at each moment and kind of where I came from, my background with it, and kind of gave me a little bit of a guide to where I was going with service, to see kind of markers of where I was at each point and how the other people around me that I was doing the service thing with were in their service experiences. So by kind of comparing and learning from each other, we got to deepen it by seeing how all of our learning experiences combined, and eventually in the end brought us to this kind of point where we knew a little bit more about why we were doing what we were doing, not just everything that we were getting out of it.
I definitely noticed a growth with my volunteers from the beginning of the semester to the end of the semester. And the growth is just incredible. I've been so impressed with my volunteers already this semester, and we're only, 6 weeks into the semester. Just the realizations that the volunteers come to. They draw similarities between the people that they're serving and themselves.
In meeting my volunteers before they participated in the service thing, I think they were a lot more tentative. I think they were a lot more unsure of what the point of doing service was in general. And I think now that they've had the opportunity to talk to me as a staff member and the other volunteers, both who have done the service thing before or who are doing it now, it definitely just sort of gives more of a background to why we do service in the Baltimore community. And I think for that you definitely notice a change as people sort of go through the process, the reflection process, become more aware of everything, and they're definitely more motivated, I think, to volunteer now after participating in it. So yeah, there's definitely a difference.
The service things are really great because it provides an overall framework and context for student service here at Loyola, and it includes all of the components that we see as really essential to student service. So it includes the orientation, the preparation, all together as a group. It includes a reflection in the middle of the semester and at the end of the semester, and students being able to share about their experiences together throughout the entire experience of doing service in Baltimore, so that it really deepens student service experiences and makes them feel part of a community of people who want to make a difference and want to get to know Baltimore and want to have fun all at the same time.